So today is the day that the Democrats have their No King rally. No foundational Black American have any business out there protesting for the Democrat Party. I'm going to repeat that again for those that did not hear me in the back. The so-called foundational Black Americans have no business out there protesting or taking part in any protest against ICE, against Trump, against federal agents. Now, some of you are out there talking about how ICE is targeting Black Americans. Did you guys forget that the Democrats strategically placed illegal migrants in so-called Black American communities? This is all by design. It's all by design. They designed it so there are going to be some Black Americans that's caught up in the mix. But they're not targeting the so-called Black Americans. Black Americans just happen to be there. That's where they put the illegal migrants in the Black American community. They didn't put them in the Italian community. They didn't put them with the Asians. They didn't put them with those Ukraine people or the South African whites that came here. They didn't even put them in those politicians' neighborhood. They put them in the so-called Black American community to compete with the resources. What little resources that the Black community had, now they have to compete with illegal migrants. And to take it a little farther, they even gave illegal migrants, they gave them an EBT card, they have a driver's license, they have work permits, everything that American citizens should be receiving because that's what we pay taxes for. The illegal migrants are now taking advantage of everything that the American people should be benefiting off of. But they will talk about Black Americans, about how Black Americans are on welfare and EBT and all this other nonsense while they're collecting it and they have no right to receive it at all. Now, there may have been some Democrat politicians out there protesting about George Floyd, but the only thing Black Americans asked for was a hate crime bill so the police can stop taking their lives unjustly and then end up spending time with their family, but yet the families of so many foundational Black Americans had to bereave and mourn the loss of a child or a family member. You had white supremacists that go up in churches and in school. They target Black children. Even after what happened to Charlie Kirk, they started targeting the foundational Black Americans, not the ones that took the life of Charlie Kirk, but they started targeting Black Americans. And I'm kind of disappointed, man, because Black Americans are allowing this stuff to take place. In the time that I came up in, none of this could happen. Black Americans would not allow what's happening now to happen. And so I'm a little disappointed, man. But for y'all to be out there protesting against ICE, Black Americans should be a part of no protests involving the Democrat Party. The only time they want you on the front line is when they want to use you. See, you're not receiving the benefits that these illegal migrants are benefiting on. They're telling you to move on with your life, to forget about the history of slavery. They don't think you deserve reparations. But they, without authorization, just give away our tax dollars to migrants. They're spending all of the money on illegal migrants. They shut this country down in protest of illegal migrants. Of course, they put Trump's name on it because they got you guys brainwashed. But they shut this country down in behalf of illegal migrants, and they're out there across the country protesting what they call a No Kings protest against Trump. But they're doing that in behalf of illegal migrants. They have never done that for the so-called Black Americans. They have not spent. America is losing billions of dollars a week with this shutdown. But yet they can't pay the descendants of slavery reparations. They tell you it will make the country go broke. But they don't mind wasting money on illegal migrants. So I don't think any so-called Black American, nor Latino, nor legal migrants, I don't think any of y'all should be out there protesting a No Kings rally or even fighting against ICE. And if you guys notice, all these shootings took place in Chicago. Notice we don't hear about them shootings now that was happening in the Black community. We don't hear about Black people killing each other in Chicago, and you don't see Black people out in those protests. These are paid protesters that are paid by the Democrat Party, right, to go out there and protest against ICE to make it appear that the residents of Chicago is protesting. And they want Black Americans out there so that they can put you on front line. They can have those cameras zoomed in on you to make it appear that you're the one that's out there causing disruption, so that they have a right to put you down. They have a right to arrest you. But you don't see Black Americans out there. You see whites. You see those protesters that are paid, that are Democratic protesters. I call those Joe Biden's army. You see Joe Biden and the Democrat army out there protesting. They're all white and they're migrants, illegal migrants out there protesting. And you may see a sprinkle of Black Americans out there that think they're doing something because they're loyal to the Democrat Party. When the Democrat Party basically threw you under the bus, they're not doing anything for Black Americans. Not at all. Look at what they're doing in behalf of people that's not even citizens. But yet, there's a lot of y'all out there that can't even get no public assistance because even with the little money they give you, they say you make too much. And you got Governor Hochul in New York, it just got done giving citizens $200. What are those $200 going to do? What is the average citizen going to do with $200? But yet the illegal migrants in New York City was getting, what, $13,000, $15,000 a month on an EBT card and a free ride anywhere in the country they wanted to go. And Black Americans or the average citizen can't get anything, barely get public assistance or any type of help. I know people right now that don't even have health insurance, not working because they can't find jobs and they're not eligible for health insurance. But illegal migrants and their children got free health insurance. And you guys are out there protesting your own demise. No foundational Black American, no legal migrant, or even white people have no right out there in a No Kings protest. You have no right being out there. You're a fool if you are. So that's my thoughts on it. You guys are wasting your time. You're heading for self-destruction. Self-destruction because you are the ones that's opening the door. They're using you guys as pawns. You guys are out on the front line. You guys are the grunts. They're in the back, still getting their paycheck, even with this shutdown. The politicians are still getting paid. But a lot of y'all was put out of work. And now you're on the protest line, protesting for the same people that fired you or got you fired.
You see, it's always funny when the same folks who told us to calm down during our protests suddenly want us to march for theirs. Now they're out there chanting "No Kings," crying about dictatorship. Over the past few days, white Americans flooded the streets under the banner of the No Kings protest, claiming they're standing up to Donald Trump's authoritarian tendencies. They say Trump's acting like a king, deploying federal forces into cities, threatening protesters, bending democracy till it screams. But here's the kicker. The same people now defending democracy were silent, or worse, cheering, when black communities were brutalized, surveilled, and silenced. And now when the system starts eating its own, they want the same black people they ignored to link arms and save it? No, we're good. Because history taught us, white panic always comes with black consequences. Let's be real for a second. The No Kings protests? That's not revolution. That's performance art with coffee breaks. As one clip said, these folks will make a sign, chant for an hour, post on Facebook, then go home to brunch. And yet they want to lecture us on solidarity?
So I was leaving a repass and I drove past one of those No King's Day protests. White people ain't angry enough for me. Put that sign down and pick up a bat. And this is why I don't trust anyone else leading revolutionary or liberation type of movement work outside of black folk. Because y'all will take more time to go to Michael's, get some magic markers, a poster board, stand outside, sing some songs, and ask for bouncy houses than you will actually fight for the liberation of the most marginalized people in the United States of America. You don't need to co-opt chanting no justice, no peace. We already know there's no justice. Pick up a brick, Brittany. Y'all get more active when your hockey team loses. Flip a police car. I saw one video where the people spelled out no king, so I guess helicopters could see it from the sky. What exactly was the end goal? What exactly was gained by that? Because the actual point of a protest is to actually follow up with an active agenda, a plan in place, a marker that says you should be taken seriously. Them racist family and friends that y'all have that are actually MAGA? Go beat their ass. Do something productive.
I'm watching footage from the No Kings protest and I'm seeing sprinkles of black women there. I mean, I know the country is burning, but I thought we collectively agreed to sit this one out. Not saying that we shouldn't exercise our rights, but didn't we already do that at the polls back in November? Shouldn't we be preparing for Juneteenth and those festivities? Where I'm becoming concerned is that if more of us show up to those protests, then they're going to start blaming it on us. I mean, if you're going to protest, okay, but please just be sure that you're taking care of yourself first.
I don't think people in America understand how angry black people are. And I'm not talking about the trope of black people anger, right? Angry black woman, angry black man. I am talking about angry at the fact that the majority of white people voted 3 times for Donald Trump. The majority of white people have voted for Republicans since the civil rights laws were passed in the 60s. And that has led us directly to where we are right now. I don't think you understand how angry black people are. Just because we play it cool, just because we make jokes and make funny videos, and we do not suppress our black joy, I don't think you understand how angry we are. And just because we have followed black women's lead saying we're gonna sit this out, you're not gonna see us out in the streets protesting because he wants to unleash the military on us. And you know what he did as a response? He's been sending the military to our homes. He sent them to our homes, our businesses, walking down our streets. He had them dropping out of helicopters in Chicago. And now they just said, they're thinking of sending the 82nd Airborne into Portland because they don't like white people up in Portland either. We saw what he did in Los Angeles. We saw what he's doing, what he's doing in Chicago, Houston, Washington. We see that. And you know what? We're angry. And I don't think the rest of this country, non-black people, understand that. Because it's easy for white Americans to sit back and say, blame everything on your favorite villain, right? Nazi Germany and the H guy. But let me tell you something. Everything Donald Trump and Stephen Miller and Hegseth and the eugenics of RFK, everything they're doing has been done to black people in this country, not Germany, not under the H guy, not in Germany in World War II. We got 400 years of this happening to us by y'all. See, it is a very convenient excuse to blame everything as a likeness of Nazi Germany because it absolves white Americans from looking at your own granddaddy and grandmama who perpetrated these things against us. And I'm not just talking about 350, 400 years of enslavement, 100 years of Jim Crow, and all that, thousands and thousands of lynchings, all the eugenics, all the forced sterilizations, all of that has been done right here, starving us all done right here. All the people protest about genocide somewhere on the other side of the world. What do you think happened here? So listen, if we can get through this, part of that truth and reconciliation that I talked about in my other video, there's going to be a carve out, a breakout day, month, year, where we got to talk about, we got to get through our anger because we are angry at y'all.
I'm going to give a hot take on something here. I'm going to say that the No Kings protest is the very definition of white privilege. Why do I say that? Because white people have the privilege to protest on a Saturday outside of working hours every 3 months. You get up, eat your Wheaties, make a sign, you feel good, you do something for an hour and a half, and then you go back, you post it on Facebook, and you go, cool, we'll do this again in January. That is privilege. If you're black, if you're Latino, if you're Mexican, if you're Muslim, if you're Asian, if you're anything other than white, every day, people across this country are getting looked at differently, or getting shit on, their due process, they're getting racially profiled. That's why we're still here. Because white people are still refusing to get off their damn couch and do it. If you want to actually protest, if you want to be an actual ally and really fight fascism, do that shit every day. Every day should be a new No Kings Day. Not every 3 months, not every 4 months, not every fucking month. Every goddamn day. You stop working. You don't pay your taxes. You protest. And you shut this shit down. Now, when you're ready to do that, you let me know. But I'm sick and tired of people thinking that No Kings is going to change anything, because it ain't. It makes white people feel good like they did the bare fucking minimum. 2025strike.com. You want to do something? You go sign that damn petition. You reverse Citizens United, you give women their rights back, you raise minimum wage, you put in gun reform, and you put term limits on people in the Senate and the Supreme Court. If you're not going to do those basic things, it doesn't matter if a Democrat or Republican run this damn country, because none of it benefits us. I am sick and tired of kids getting shot in goddamn schools, but people on the right bitching about a drag queen reading at a fucking high school. I'm sick and tired of it. So you have a choice, people. You could be on the right side of history or the white side of history. But if all you're willing to do is the bare minimum, then you're staying on the white side of history, because you're unwilling to be uncomfortable. The very definition of white privilege. What side are you going to be on?
The No Kings protest coming up, understand that these ICE agents will shoot people. I'm going to just be honest, and it's crazy to say. These ICE agents are willing to shoot people. They are willing to take the lives of people and just say, it was an accident. They rammed into people's cars. They accidentally shot people and took their life. And guess what's going to happen to them? Not a damn thing. Because our president supports criminality. We have the most ghetto president in U.S. history currently, who is okay with these ICE agents taking your life, with these federal agents taking your life. Stay protected out there. If you're protesting, be protected out there. And don't automatically assume that they're going to be firing rubber bullets.
Is there any portion of the population denser than MAGA right now? Like, oh, you libtard going out to protest No Kings? We ain't got a king. Yeah, no shit, exactly. That's why we're doing it. You don't sit around and wait until you have a king to go out and protest No Kings. I swear, they do not understand subtleties, nuance, reading between the lines. It has to be black and white for them. They see the words no and kings and they think, well, that means there must be a king. Oh, there's no king? What are you protesting against? It's because you have a president of the United States posting pictures of himself as a king, proclaiming he wants to be a dictator and his followers want him to be a dictator. He is occupying American cities with American forces. These are the signs of an autocrat, of a dictator, whatever word you want to put on there. That is the sign of somebody who wants to be king. Why is he making this ballroom if he plans to leave in a few years? I guarantee he doesn't plan to. Why are there Trump 28 hats if he plans on not running again? Like, these are all actions of somebody who wants to be a dictator, who wants to be a king. But MAGA can't get that through their dense, thick skulls. I don't understand. People are speaking out against this administration because they do not want a king, not because one already exists.
So millions of people went to the No King's Day protest. And I'm sure 10 million more didn't go out of fear. I'm sure 10 more didn't talk about it because they scared. But just from the 10 million that went to the No Kings protest should be enough to make the administration stop and think, are we doing something wrong? Should we step back and look at what we're doing? If enough American people are saying something about it, you would think they'd step back and think about it. But they won't. They're just going to keep doing what they want to do. They gave the No King's Day protest people their day to protest. Now it's over, and they're going to continue doing whatever they wanted to do anyway. But a right thing to do would be to step back and consider what the American people are saying. Do you agree?
They're out on the streets shouting, "No kings!" You know, funny thing is, they're the same people who spent 8 years kneeling to unelected bureaucrats and tech censors. They say Trump wants to be a monarch. You know what I see? A man the system can't control, and that scares them more than tyranny ever would. For years, the government, media, and corporate class told everyone exactly what to think. And as long as their guy was in charge, nobody yelled authoritarian. But now a president talks directly to the people. He bypasses their filters, and suddenly it's no kings, no dictators. I mean, you see what I mean? That's not a protest for freedom. It's a protest for control. Because when power shifts away from their institutions, well, they panic. They don't want no kings. They want their kings back. You know, the ones in newsrooms, in universities, and boardrooms. Imagine this. You vote for someone to drain the swamp. And the swamp, it marches against you holding cardboard crowns. Now tell me who's pretending to rule whom. They keep chanting no kings like it's rebellion. But rebellion isn't yelling at the guy you hate. It's standing up to the machine that tells you who you're allowed to hate. So be honest. Who really holds the crown now?
We've been in the trenches, from Selma to Ferguson to George Floyd, and every time we called for justice, they told us to protest peacefully. Now they're flipping cop cars because their hockey team in chief turned dictator. Irony much. One sister said it plain, we already voted, we already fought, we're sitting this one out because this No Kings movement is a white privilege protest. You can only afford to fight tyranny on Saturdays when you don't live under it every day. We face tyranny in traffic stops, in hospitals, in job interviews, in courtrooms. We don't get to clock out of oppression at 5 p.m. And when those ICE raids hit, when the government redirected resources away from our communities, who stood with us? Not the same people marching now. On Black commentator said, they want you at the front lines when it benefits them, but nowhere in sight when it's time for reparations. That's the truth. They can call it democracy, but if democracy only matters when they suffer, it was never democracy to begin with. Let's also talk about manipulation. These protests, many argue, are funded and orchestrated by political elites, the same establishment that weaponized media to paint us as thugs for demanding our humanity. Now they use performative outrage to distract from their own role in maintaining systemic rot. Meanwhile, the poorest of the poor, including Black Americans, are still hungry, uninsured, and over-policed. So no, we're not joining this No Kings theater. We don't need to march for a system that never marched for us. Black people have learned something powerful. Every fight ain't ours. Because while America finally wakes up to the monster it created, we've been living with it. So march if you want to. But understand this. When the smoke clears and the signs fade, only those who truly knew oppression will know what freedom costs. Until America values black lives the way it values white outrage, our message remains simple. Not our fight, but our watch.